We're gonna tell you some things.
Where do we even begin?
Cut your bicep off.
But yeah, you broke something.
Oh, cool.
Thank God, Brielle has been fine.
And I'm not the skinniest guy, so hey, a heart attack, maybe, right?
The only reason why I haven't just left.
I'm not pregnant right now. If you wanna know what all this is actually about, you're gonna have to watch the whole thing.
Hey, welcome back to Our Family B.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Brigitte. And in this video, we are doing a life update because there's been a lot that's been going on, and if you've followed us for any length of time, you have noticed that we've been missing uploads, which we have not done.
We were consistent for like a year and a half with 2 uploads a week.
On only 2 occasions in the last year and a half.
Christmas
we
Day,
missed.
like that's fair.
But we have missed a lot, and we've been doing 1 upload for the
Well,
last...
a lot is 2.
Well, I guess, okay,
It's 2.
I felt like it's a lot because a lot has happened,
A
so.
lot has been going on. If you want to know what all this is actually about, you're gonna have to watch the whole thing.
Yeah. I don't even know where to begin. Well, we're starting with coffee.
Coffee.
Well, it's decaf.
Because it's middle of the day.
Well, it's afternoon.
And we're old people now. We can't drink like we used to. Coffee, I mean. Clearly. Like, because we don't have the alcohol. So,
Where do we even begin?
we were born in 1985.
Both of us.
Yes. So in May of 2020, I built a bed and we made a video about it. That day, I had been having like chest pains, which happens sometimes. It feels like someone's crushing my chest. And I started thinking it was anxiety because I like went to the hospital a couple times about it. They're like, yeah, no, there's no cardiac stuff here. You just have anxiety problems. I'm like, no, I don't.
This guy's like the most, not laid back, but you are very like optimistic, I feel like.
Yeah.
I'm definitely more of the pessimistic, realistic person.
I'd say pessimistic is fair.
Yeah. Glass half empty, more so.
Or broken. I'm sorry, I'm so happy not to be in pain today. I'm like laughing at Okay.
So May, you went to the hospital.
Well,
Nothing.
no.
Nothing was shown.
No.
You didn't go in May?
Wait, just May, I had been having chest pains the day I built that bed all day, but I pushed through and it made it happen anyway. And then in the middle of the night, it was like 2 a.m., I woke up because of pain. Pain woke me up out of my sleep. And it was like super extreme, felt like someone was trying to pull my left arm out of its socket. Pain in my shoulder out of nowhere. And I'm like, I'm out of my mind. I pulled something while I was sleeping or something. I'm gonna try not to make any noise, but I wanted to scream. And I actually did a couple times. I got up and I got in the shower and nothing was making this pain better. I was like, I don't know anything. Can anything stop this? And I told my wife it was horrible and I couldn't handle it. Which guys, like, okay, you can just think I have a low pain tolerance. I don't actually think that's true, but it was really horribly bad. And I was told by my wife to go to the hospital because like chest pains all day and then like my arm hurts. So
I mean, it was like the left arm, so I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like, I don't know, heart, something.
And I'm not the skinniest guy, so hey, a heart attack, maybe, right? So I drive myself to the ER because the kids are sleeping. And as a parent, you don't wake them up if you don't have to.
Was I off that day?
I don't know,
I think I was off that day.
You were off the next day. Yeah.
That day you went, the morning you went in, I was off.
And I got in there and they were like all the cardiac workups and COVID had just started. And so everybody was like super intense about everything. They ran the test, lost my blood work. Thanks, folks. Had to run it again. No cardiac stuff. Chest x-ray. Nothing there. Okay, and they're like, I want you to do a full workup on everything. But they gave me some stuff and muscle relaxers and nitroglycerin and the pain started slowly to subside and it was manageable by that point. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know what that was. They don't know either. They sent me on my merry way.
But we didn't think it was like gonna be a recurring thing with you. It was just
Right.
like, oh, this random thing happened. Oh, went away. Like we've had random things happen with you over the last couple of years. No,
Weird.
Since we were in our first house.
Yeah.
We had random things where you'd wake up in pain, and then sometimes you would go to the hospital.
But also I'm a guy, and so I was just like, it's fine. This is fine, it's normal. Things just hurt, right?
Well, the thing is, like, you're no stranger to pain because of your stomach stuff. So it's not like you feel any pain and you're like, oh my gosh, this shouldn't be here. Like, some people think I'm feeling pain, it's terrible, I have to go to the ER, which is not necessarily always like needed because your life is not going to be pain-free. People are in the hospital and they say they break something and they're like, oh, I'm having pain. And it's like, okay, well, they give you, drugs for it to minimize the pain, but they're like, well, I'm still having pain. It's like, well, yeah, you broke something. Nothing is going to take that away completely because your body is healing it. So
no, and when I hurt, like if I sprained my leg a couple of years ago coming down the stairs and stuff like that, I don't even like taking heavy stuff. Like I'll take NSAIDs, like ibuprofen for a few days, and then just like I'll deal with it because I want to know if something's wrong. So pain, I think not like a terribly low pain tolerance.
Yeah, no, you don't have a low. You think I have a low pain tolerance, but I birthed 2 babies naturally, so.
And I say you're a superhero for that, but when you stub a toe, the world ends.
Yes, well, it's true.
So came home, I took it really easy. I was working from home, right? So like I could not do a lot physically and be really careful and taking care of the kids because they were at home for a few months at that time. And I started even going to a chiropractor.
Which it took me 5 years for him to go.
Yeah.
To convince him
not
to
into
go.
it. But I went and
yeah,
they
but
were like,
that was after you had shoulder pain.
Right. But I started seeing, you know, reduction in symptoms, but they did notice, like my primary notice, like I had weakness, like I couldn't raise my arm up all the way to the side. And they were like, oh, it's probably a rotator cuff. So I did have an MRI at the time, and the MRI showed nothing at all. 0 results. There's nothing wrong with you. You're fine.
Yeah.
So I was just like frustrated.
And we had multiple people look at it too. So
radiologist.
Yeah.
Because you know, she works at the hospital.
Yeah, and they said there's no fluid there. It doesn't look like it's a labral tear or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have a tear, but you know, usually there's fluid if you know there is one, and there wasn't, and structurally everything looked fine.
So fast forward like 8-9 months, May to January. I'm working back in the office, and the pain had like come back a little, like teeny bit every now and then. But I would just like not sleep on that side for a few nights, maybe take a muscle relaxer at night or something. So I would sleep well, I would stretch it out, I started like exercising it, and the shoulder.
Yeah, because you started doing Beat Saber.
I was playing Beat Saber, which if you don't know what it is, we'll talk another time about that. But it was like mostly better. Then January, I woke up and I was like, oh, that's hurting. I pushed through and I took the kids to school, and then I got to work and I was like, oh, it's hurting more. And then I started stretching it. And then it got so bad that I like could not comfortably type. Like I was wincing quite frequently in pain. And I was like, okay, nope, going to urgent care to get checked out. Of course, okay, well, let's do an x-ray. All right, did the x-ray. Nothing on the x-ray. You need to see an orthopedist. So I went to an orthopedist. I found one open that day in network. And he had his residents come and see me. And they moved my arm around and tried a few things. And they were like, yeah, we can't find anything on your MRI. There's nothing.
You brought the films.
Yeah, I brought the old MRI, and they were like, there's nothing wrong with your MRI. We move your arm around, it seems fine. A little bit of weakness, but nothing big. They call the doctor, and doctor comes in. All right, move your arm this way. He's like, yeah, there's weakness there. He's like, hold on, I'll be right back. Goes to the MRI. I'm not naming the doctor, just goes, looks at the MRI, come back. Okay, yeah, you have a torn labrum. It's a membrane in your shoulder. Even though you can't really see it in the MRI, that's definitely what's wrong. We'll give you a steroid shot in the arm, and we'll recommend some physical therapy, but you might need surgery on that. What we'll do is we'll cut your bicep off, and we'll move it and reattach it to a different part of your bone. I was like, oh, cool. I'm gonna get a second opinion. So I got a second opinion, this time from the bougie orthopedist. I say that just because like his office was nice. This guy comes in, he's like, all right, tell me everything. And so I go through the whole history. And he's like, yeah, you don't have a torn labrum. There's nothing wrong with your MRI. You have an autoimmune disorder that's attacking your nerves. Like, what? I don't think he got it right, but I think he was closer. He's like, you need to go see a neurologist, and you need to see a rheumatologist. In the meantime, I'm like in all this pain. I go see the neurologist, and the pain's getting worse all the time. And he said, oh, we'll give you some steroids. The steroids helped. Like, knocked it out after a day or so. I didn't have any pain for a few weeks. It was amazing.
No, you started them on a night.
Yeah.
All at once. Yeah. And by morning, you were not in excruciating pain.
No, it was much better.
And because you could actually sleep that night.
Oh, and at this point, the pain had gone to my other shoulder and my chest. And if I took a deep breath, it felt like someone was stabbing me in the chest. Like, it was horrific. Guys, I'm smiling only because I'm not in pain right now, but it was horrible. And I laid on the couch for 2 days, and the only thing I could do was not move, lay flat with a towel under my neck, and breathe very tiny little breaths. And after a few hours, I would be out of enough pain to get a little bit of sleep. It was
bad.
It was bad.
I was handling the kids and the house and working and worrying about him and we're trying to figure out what's going on. We're trying to get into the doctors, and it was not fun.
It was not good. Steroids help though, right? Okay, great.
The first time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was gone for a few weeks, and so of course, being a guy, I'm like, oh, I'm fine now. Again. I wasn't fine. And it came back. And it came back really strong. This time, like, just in the right arm for a while. And I went back to my primary care doctor and I was like, hey, can I get some steroids? She's like, yeah, here's another dose pack. Only the first night's dose helped. That next weekend, now we're in March. That next weekend, I took Saturday off of work because the pain had come back. And Sunday I worked. And it was not wise. I'd already missed a few different days of work. Like, I was running out of sick days already. And that morning, usually in the morning the pain was better. That morning the pain wasn't better.
Mm-hmm. And you were still on steroids.
Yeah, and I was on steroids. And I woke up and tried to get ready, and I couldn't put my shoes on. And I had already had days where I couldn't tie my... Like, I just couldn't push myself to hold my arm down long enough to tie shoes. But I couldn't bring them to my...
You couldn't lift your boot to put it on.
It was just reaching down, yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, really, gosh, guys, I know it's probably sounds whiny, and you look at people who have stuff going on with pain, and you're like, oh, they look fine. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that day, despite that, I went to work, and I pushed through it. And it got so bad. The next day, I went back to my doctor. I took off work again. And I got a shot of the strongest steroid they had, I guess. Plus the dose I was already still taking.
In the butt.
My wife said butt.
In the bottom.
That's right. The bottom.
That's what we tell Benjamin.
So that started to help after a few hours, a little bit, and then we started this conversation at my job where, like, I was missing quite a bit of work, and they're gracious and wonderful about it, but it wasn't a tenable situation, and they're gracious and wonderful about it. You know, even a pastor has to go to work every day, and I couldn't, and I didn't know what days it would be doable. And, like, I would go to work and push myself and be in so much pain, I'd have to take the next day or two off to, like, rest and have it just fade enough that I could go back, and then I'd burn myself again. So they're like, hey, you should look at maybe taking a step back for a while, which I hated. Like, I didn't want to do that. So I am now out on short-term disability.
Which has been, I know, hard for you. I was out on short-term disability when I was at the end of my pregnancy with Brielle.
Clarifying, I'm not pregnant right now.
No, you are not.
Okay.
But I know kind of the feeling, even though it's different situations, of, like, being out and just having to say, I can't do it, because our whole society is like, you can do it, you need to do it all, like, you need to, you don't need help from people. If you need help, you're a weakling, like,
getting it all done.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many, like, videos about that, you know, on YouTube with moms and stuff, and it's like, but you can't. And so going out, I know, on short-term disability, along with, like, being in the pain and physical part of it, like, mentally and emotionally, it affects you, because now you feel like, well, I can't do it. Like, I don't know, it hurts a little, like, to, I don't know, our pride and just feeling like we can hold it together. Well, and
as a man, like, I want to work. I should work. But it's like what I couldn't say from one week to the next, what days I'd suddenly, like, not be able to, like, dress myself.
Well, it was the wisest, and it's been a blessing, because trying to get into doctor's appointments, and then you have to call in to get this doctor's appointment,
and I
then
kept pushing them back.
And yeah, you had been trying to make some of these appointments for months because we knew we needed to make them, but it's like, well, you have one day off, and it's like, well, if the kids happen to have off school and I'm working, then you can't go because you have to watch the kids. Like, oh, well, I can only do this time and this time. Okay, well, so now we're pushing it to the next week or the next week, and they're only available on these days. And you've been able to get appointments done. You've had several.
So eventually I ended up at a rheumatologist And she was cool, but she asked a million questions, which I like, very thorough. And she goes, yeah, I don't think you have that autoimmune disease.
Which was nerve-based autoimmune disease.
Right. She goes, no, I'm pretty sure you have rheumatoid arthritis. I'm like, arthritis? She's like, no, rheumatoid arthritis.
Which
And
most people think like osteoarthritis, like old people with their knuckles and they can't really straighten out their, limbs and stuff. That's what I thought. When I hear arthritis, that's what I think.
all of the folks out there with osteoarthritis, we're sure you're not all old and shriveled, and we love you.
But like that's what I think when I hear arthritis.
Yeah.
I think of an older person who is just like, they can't straighten their limbs and they have like joint problems.
Right, and this tends to be in the joints, but like it can affect all of them in different ways. I'm like, to my shoulder, she's like, yeah, that happens. And like, it's been sudden, and she's like, yeah, that happens. I'm like, oh, okay. And she's like, there's lots of treatments, but we don't even know for sure that's it. I have to get blood work, ultrasound, x-ray, MRI, and possibly a CT as well. And I just got the ultrasound of my wrists and hands done today, and lots of tests left to do, but it's been a real blessing that I had the opportunity to take advantage of the short-term disability anyway, because except for the last couple days, which I'm just taking as a blessed reprieve, it is, I mean, the days have kind of gone back and forth between like, okay, manageable pain, but like I have to be still the whole day, to horrific, like all the time, and by the time night comes, because it always gets worse throughout the whole day, by the time night comes, it's like it takes me 10 minutes to get into a laying down position because there's so much pain like in my chest and my sternum every time I try to breathe, and when I move positions I can't like expand my lungs without excruciating pain. Guys, it's weird. We have no idea what's going on. We felt like we've been really open with y'all about our lives, and we haven't talked about this at all, basically. And so we felt like we needed to do this and let you know what's happening.
Yeah, we know many of you struggle with chronic illnesses and stuff like that, and dealing with pain on a constant basis. And our hearts really go out to you, and especially to your families, because like I'm not the one dealing with pain, but like I'm the one dealing with everything else because he's unable to. So, it weighs on us both, but in different ways. Like his is the physical pain and trying to just get through the day and have any type of relief and not knowing exactly how to do that all the time. And then me trying to still work full time, trying to do YouTube, which obviously we've dropped some videos because it's just been too much. Trying to keep up with the house, trying to take care of the kids, feed them, make dinner, make lunches for everyone, like just continue with the process of, holding the family together. And on top of that, having a really rough transition at work from my old job to my new job, which is still the same department, but now I just have a lot more responsibility, and it's been one thing after another there. And that has just compounded everything else happening here, because it's not been easy, and it's come home with me, and it's just been so rough. I think I cried like every day. If we had filmed this 48 hours ago, I would have been crying already.
We kept not filming it because either I was in too much pain or she was a wreck, and she has been a superhero. You've been amazing, and I love you, and you're just awesome. And I highly recommend, if you're a man out there looking for a wife, that you find one like this. You can't have this one. She's quite taken. And I will fight for her. I have exercised my Second Amendment, just saying.
So it's just been like an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
And
it's been hard. It's been really hard.
It's just been like every area of our life has had something going on.
Oh, and Benjamin had to have dental surgery in the middle of it, out of town.
Oh my gosh. And then, so on top of him, me being like just a wreck with work and wanting to quit and on the verge of doing it like every other day, then Benjamin has been having tooth problems since, when was his first like screaming night? Was it in January?
Probably.
February? Something like that? No, it was like, January-ish or something.
Y'all got kids? You know what's up.
So it's all of this at the same time. I took my job in January. His pain really started getting bad in January.
True.
Benjamin has started having his problems in January, where we didn't sleep for like a whole night because he was up every 20 minutes. And then it happened again. So anyways, with his whole tooth saga, what ended up happening is we took him to the dentist the day after he like didn't sleep because he said his mouth was hurting. And they were able to only barely look at his teeth because he just wouldn't let them. And they got very minimal like x-rays. Said he needs to see a pediatric dentist. He's probably going to need surgery or tooth fillings or whatever. Not surgery. They said he would need fillings. He had cavities, like 9 of them. We're like, oh, lovely. Like, we brush his teeth. So we saw a pediatric dentist the next week. They ended up pulling out one of his teeth that was really hurting him. Very traumatic for him. The dentist was super nice. We love him. And so over the weekend, he heals up. I called the next week and I was like, hey, he also has other areas. Like, I know he was like a crying mess when we left, but like we didn't really like talk about when he can come back in and blah, blah, blah. I can't get another appointment for like 3 weeks. And we had gotten in within a few days to have the extraction done and all that. So super quick. So I was like, all right, well, his tooth is out. He should be fine. Like, he just maybe has some other areas that need work. So the week that he's gonna go in, another night, he barely sleeps. He is crying in pain. We're giving him like Motrin, Tylenol, like alternating back and forth. And it's rough. So we get back in. They do some more x-rays. I think they tried to do a filling or something. He wouldn't breathe in the gas. He wouldn't stay still. They were like,
I mean, he's 5 too, and it's new, and he had a really bad first experience with the tooth pulling.
Yeah, and they're like, everything in me is telling me to not do this. He's like, it's gonna be like 45 minutes, and I need his cooperation, and he's just not. He's scared, understandably, and he's not mature enough to do it. Like, he has multiple areas. All 4 quadrants need work. He's like, I would suggest, you can see another doctor. Maybe they'll do it in-house somewhere. But he's like, I go to a hospital, which is far from us and far from that office. It's like an hour plus away. He's like, I trust them. I do all of my anesthesia cases there. We do a lot of like special needs kids and like kids that are too big to like sedate in the office. He's like, I go there to do all my work. I suggest if you want to stay with me, then we need to go there. So we're like, okay, let's do it. How soon can we do it? And it was like 2 months away. And we're like, oh my gosh, 2 months.
So they're like, here's some antibiotics, but also it came back and the pain started again. So we pushed and they moved it way forward, thank God, which was good.
We got all of his pre-op stuff done amidst like all of his pain and stuff like that.
So I'm like walking in to get the kid a COVID test, poor kid, before he has to go so he can go to the hospital in the first place.
Which was like 2 days before. I took off the day of his surgery, and the next day we drove down there. It was such a long thing. We were supposed to go in early in the morning, but the day before is when they call you to give you your call time, and they're like, well, you need to call in the morning because then we'll have a better idea of what time you can come in. So I was like, well, obviously he has an afternoon slot if I have to call in the morning. And I was like, we live an hour plus away, so, we need to know, whatever. So we ended up leaving the house at like 10:30. We got home at 8 p.m. And it was so long. He got all of the work done. He had an abscess. He had another tooth pulled. He had a couple spacers put in. He had a couple caps, 1 cap put in or 2 caps.
17. A lot. He had fillings, caps.
Fillings. They cleaned. They sealed his 6-year-old molars that are coming in.
Can I insert here? And in the midst of all this, I was like, okay, here's the deal, doctor. This kid brushes morning and night. We know this. He's like, no. He's 5, by the way. He's 5. Okay, he's 5. No. His brushing's fine. His flossing needs work.
I barely floss.
Sorry, internet, but y'all know it's true. We don't do it that much.
Yeah.
And he's 5.
So anyways, we floss now with the little pick thingies. And I think it's hereditary because my mom has bad and soft enamel, like her teeth are bad. Mine were bad. I had multiple fillings. Like, I think I had every tooth filled and sealed when I was growing up. So I think it's just genetic. But
I didn't go to a dentist for over 20 years and all mine are real. So anyway, I love you.
Yeah, you also have great nails and mine are like thin as paper. So amidst his stuff, Benjamin's stuff, my stuff, thank God Brielle has been fine.
She's been good.
She has been like
talkative, says no a lot, but cute.
In the midst of everything, with every person almost in our house, it has been a lot for us to handle emotionally, physically. It has just been like overwhelming. And something had to give, and it was a video here and then a video there. And a lot of the stuff that we actually did upload when it was one time a week was pre-recorded.
Thank God.
On good days,
Yeah.
like grocery hauls, or like the garden update video that we just posted was over several days, and it was before we had some really bad, incidences happen. Actually, in one of the days, you can see Benjamin and Brandon leaving to go to the dentist.
This video is being filmed on Wednesday for Friday,
Yeah.
Wednesday afternoon before she goes to get the kids. So this will be pretty contemporary. Guys, the garden has had so much progress.
Yes.
Just wait.
I can't wait to show you guys the garden. You just have to
Just don't tell them.
Yeah, you just have to wait. You have to wait. So much has happened, and I love how you guys are commenting and just showing your support. It really means so much to us. You guys are so encouraging. Honestly, we say life is better together, and it is. We truly mean it, and we're so thankful for you guys. And when we want to quit, and even though we miss uploads, we never think about just leaving YouTube altogether, because
there's no way.
like, our hearts are out there, and you guys have touched them. Our relationships with you guys, and some of you, like, that we've really gotten to know even more personally than just like in the comments. That's so invaluable to us. So valuable.
Invaluable, like it cannot be valuable.
Yeah, it can't be replaced. Yeah. And we don't know what God is going to do in the future, especially with our channel, or with our life. Who knows what God will do in our lives,
or even in the short term.
But we love it. We love you guys, and so because of that, we feel like we need to be honest with you guys and just give you an update, because we know that you guys care, and you guys ask about us, and you guys are always so supportive when we need to take a break here and there. And
we're trying not to take a break. If you're still watching at this point, this is going to be a long one. If you are
if you're still
our people,
watching, leave this emoji.
If you're watching at this point, you're like our people probably, or you're a new person and you like us for some ungodly reason, despite this video being kind of down. We don't know what the future is going to bring, because I don't know. Well, I have another flare up tonight that lasts for 4 weeks or something, or tomorrow or the next day. And when that happens, she runs the show, and I try to help as I can, but it's hard. I'm not trying to exaggerate, but I also don't want to downplay, it can be really bad. And so we are going to do everything we can to keep up with 2 videos a week, but I think we can definitely keep up the 1 for sure. But just for this next season, there's a little bit of touch and go. And if you guys are people of faith, if you pray, asking Jesus to intercede would be cool. You could do that. That'd be awesome. We're praying for healing. Also, pray for Brigitte and what she's got going on at work. It's a lot also. And we love you guys. You're awesome.
And about my work, it's for anybody who works with me, who watches.
Yeah.
I would never, you guys know, I've told you guys, I would have never even taken the job if it wasn't for you guys, because trying to do it without you, I just never would have done it. I never would have done it.
And it's great to have a team that you love.
Yes, and I do. The only reason why I haven't just left is because I do love the people I work with, and
it's just a lot of stress. You're shorthanded.
Yes, we're still trying to hire. It's a lot of change, and my schedule has changed, which I'm still adjusting to, and it's just a lot. I knew it was going to be different, but I just wasn't expecting it to be so hard. And I don't know if it's just been compounded by everything going on with Brandon and Benjamin also, but when things are going on at work and in your personal life, it's you can't handle both. You can handle one and then you can handle the other, but with them both, it's just so hard because it's so much and you never get a reprieve. Yeah, we've been not doing this video because I've been crying every day, so.
Yeah.
Yesterday and today have been better, and I wasn't even responding to comments for the last couple weeks because there was just so much, and I just was not myself, and so I caught up on some comments yesterday, and I read them all. I just don't always respond.
Yeah, and please, if you're watching still, comment, talk to us. We really love you guys.
Yeah, you guys can email us. We
Yeah.
love reading emails.
If you haven't joined our Discord, just email us or go to our website and we'll send you a link where we can chat. It's great.
Mm-hmm. We also have a P.O. box which is linked in our About section on our page.
And on our website at the bottom.
Yeah. And, but in happy news, we have some stuff in the works.
You're telling them?
No, I'm not telling them what it is.
This is just like a sneak peek of a sneak peek.
Yes, I'm telling you that we have things in the works.
Yeah.
And you guys know we've been trying to write a devotional, but that's not the thing. We have a new thing. That will happen.
We want to, it's like we have to be together to work on it. That doesn't happen that much. She happened to get off a little early today, so we're filming.
That is in the works
Yeah.
still. It's still something we want to do.
There's a Google Doc.
Yes. But there's
30% done.
There's a new thing that we've alluded to, and we've been trying to do it for a year, and we just haven't. But it's the ball is rolling. So.
But don't spray it all right here. Give it time. We'll tell them. Okay.
So, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you hit the button down below and the notification bell up to all so you don't miss when we post new videos, because they might be sporadic sometimes and you definitely will want to get notified. And if for some reason you made it to the end and you liked this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, because it's actually one of the best ways to help support our channel, and we want people to join our community because we love people and we think we're better together, because we are. Until we meet again, don't forget,
life is better together. You did it.
Yay.